So instead of doing them individually, I'm going to go ahead and do them at the same time since they're so similar. They're practically almost the same figure. I mean, they're both from the same source. But the thing is, to note here, Bandai Movie Monster Series' Shin Godzilla contains a sculpt that is pretty much the CG model. So you're getting a sculpt that is pretty dang accurate. On the bootleg version, it reuses this guy's mold, but it actually kind of mellows the detail a little bit. And in order to prove this is we're gonna take a look at the I hate to look at this, the crotch area, or I guess the abdomen, I guess, right here. You see all that little detail, those little bumps, and then we'll pull up the bootleg version. Notice how you can see like some little bumps and grooves, but you can barely see them right there. Another thing to look at is the copyright information. I think I have a little flake on mine. Whatever. We're gonna turn this around here. Toho Company Limited, and then okay, that's actually kind of well printed, but okay, hold on. Okay, so I think my argument's falling apart here, but the crotch is a good example of this. They're pretty on par, but this guy's sculpt is a teensy bit more mellow. So, in terms of the overall paint job, on the other hand, this is when we get into a little bit of weird territory. These two suffer from the opposite problems. He has too little paint, he has way too much paint. And the correct way to put it is where there is paint. Because for the majority of the bodies, none of them have any dry brushing, none of them have any paint variety. It's literally just the same across all figures. We'll look at the heads here, and the applications on both are pretty good, but I'd say the teeth paint application is better on this one than this one. I mean, you can just kind of see it slapped on there. Meanwhile, they actually took their time to make it look like teeth. I mean, that looks like teeth, but it looks more like a cartoon. Not to mention, it's not painted all the way. It's not painted towards the back of the mouth correctly. The neck is a good example, and the chest as well. See what I mean? This has not enough paint, because you can see like little gaps, say, right there. Don't have any paint, and kind of looks a little scratchy. Well, this, it literally just looks like they were painting it on the neck, and then it started running down and filling this little crevice in, and they try to take like a little napkin and try to wipe it. But I will say that this guy's paint looks better, though if you're going to go for a glowing effect, I'd say this one looks better. Looking at the claws here, or the toenails here, they kind of go for a different approach. Both of them use a spray, but this one kind of has like a more shading effect, while this one kind of is just slapped on there. So again, this guy kind of wins. The back is also the same thing. This one kind of uses an orangish red. This one uses a blood red. And then you can kind of clearly see that this guy's is not painted all the way. What I mean by this is, you can see all that. Yeah, you can see all the little paints and crevices. But you go here, and like there's like spots right there where it's not painted like that at all. It's not painted at all. So even though it's minor, it's still an issue nonetheless. And we're going to finally take a look at the tail tips. And oh my goodness, what a world of a difference right here. The Bandai Movie Monster Series has the correct idea, but I still don't understand why they paint the bones black. Why not just paint them white? I mean, you did it for the claws. Couldn't have done it for the bones? But here's the thing. This one's actually painted really well. You can see all the fine, gross details. And even the quote-unquote face, because I'm not sure if that's a face or not. Still debating about it to this day. We can just see all the nice, gross muscle fiber. Well, not really muscle fibers. Bones and stuff. Well, this one, it just looks goopy. Now, don't get me wrong, you can still see the detail on there a little bit, and you can feel it as well. But it's just the fact that they only painted it halfway, and there's also Axis plastic on the thing. Yeah, no good. In terms of the winner, Bandai Movie Monster Series wins. The original. Posability. Now you might be saying, oh, there's no winner here. They're both the same, right? Well, we actually have a definitive winner. Bandai Movie Monster Series features 4 swivels. One at the bicep right here. Or I guess that would be the shoulder? No, the shoulder would be like this big circle thing. So this is the bicep. We have a bicep swivel going around the arm right here. And we also have a hip swivels going on the leg right here. And that's kind of it. He only has 1, 2, 3, 4. He has no movement at the tail on either point. What about the bootleg? Same thing, right? Well, his is a bit more stiff, but you can still kind of get the same movement out of it. Same kind of song and dance. Biceps and legs. But here's the kicker. Movement at the tail, both segments. Now, it could just be because where you plug it in, but it moves. It may not supposed to move, but it moves. So, I hate to say this, people, but the bootleg wins this round of articulation. Round 3 is going to be price. Actually, we're going to keep those separate rounds. Price. Which one is more expensive? Well, here's the problem. There's no actual listing that says Shin Godzilla bootleg. Like, say, go on eBay and search up Bandai Movie Monster Series. You're going to see a lot of listings for, even though it's just pictures of this guy, you're probably going to get this one. I'd say the most legit place you could potentially get it is Hobby Link Japan, if they still sell it, and Amazon. eBay, you're probably going to 9 times out of 10 get this. And because of that, you're going to be getting them at the same price, which is around $20-30 minus shipping. Alright, that doesn't count shipping. So I guess we'll have that at a tie, which will lead us into availability. This one is a bit tricky to determine, but I think I'm going to have to give the win to this one simply because I'm mostly seeing only listings of this guy on eBay. Unless if you can find him, say, on a used site, or maybe... I've heard cases where you found this guy at, like, say, a flea market or a thrift store. But that's, like, not even a guaranteed chance. So yeah, this guy wins in terms of availability. Alright, and the verdict, we're going to go ahead and do the scoreboard because, you know what, again, I'm too lazy to edit these. So, the 4 rounds, we had the original winning Sculpt and Paint, so, I'm going to do it off camera. Round 2 went to the bootleg for posability. Round 3 was a tie for price. And the original one for round 4 for availability. So, it's a 3-2, that means it is a win for the Movie Monster series. So, the bootleg... Alright, how do I say this? If the bootleg had a better sculpt, I'd say if it had a better paint job than it does now, I'd actually go ahead and say that this would have been the better figure. But the reason why it's not, also I should probably say this one suffers from a balancing issue. I think it's because of the tail right back here, it's kind of too heavy for the figure to support it. I'd say if this had a better paint job, it would have probably been the better figure. But no, they kind of cheaped out, and you're better just buying off the original if they're the same price. So yes, this guy wins. In my opinion, he's the better figure, but that does not mean this figure's bad at all. Far from it. I actually really like this guy, and I think I like him more in the articulation department simply because of his articulated tail, and this guy does not articulate in the tail. Anywho, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more figure showdowns and figure reviews, figure unboxings, and more, and we'll see you guys next time.